Hello, everybody, and welcome to Offhand Ideas. I'm very excited for this episode because today we are going to be talking about the Dogman movie. Oh lordy, I've been excited for this movie ever since it was announced in 2020, and I'm just I was really excited for it. And I watched the Dogman movie, and it came out yesterday. At the time of recording this, and I watched it. I absolutely loved it. And I'm going to tell you my spoiler-free thoughts on the movie, and I'm just going to be relaxed about it. Because my last recordings of the review, I was screaming halfway through. Basically screaming. So, before we get in, please like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into it. So, first of all, I just want to say all the voice actors did a phenomenal job. If I had to pick a favorite, it'd most likely have to be Pete Davidson as Petey the Cat. I think he really captured the emotional essence of Petey the Cat, along with just the main persona of Petey the Cat being this evil guy on the surface, but deep down, you know he's just a truly good person, and you want to know more about his character. And I really like that Pete Davidson really did do his homework, and he didn't do the bare minimum at the voice acting, and he really gave 100% effort on voice acting Petey the Cat, and I really like that he did that, because Petey is one of those characters that an everyman persona cannot play by just speaking. You have to really act the part to really personify the character of Petey, and I think Pete Davidson had to be my favorite. He's funny. I love everything that Pete Davidson did with Petey, because Petey has always been my favorite Dogman character. So, props to you, Pete Davidson. Next up, the animation. The animation is spectacular. Every fight scene, every panoramic view, every shot looks like it's straight out of a comic book and even a painting. Just everything in this movie is just amazing, and Peter Hastings really did his homework on the Dogman style, because the animation looked like you just shot the original book with a life ray. You literally just brought the style of the books to life, made a few changes here and there to adjust the book to really make it watchable for animation, and just he did a phenomenal job. I love. And if DreamWorks ever does make a trilogy, I want Peter Hastings to stay for the entirety of the trilogy if they ever do a planned trilogy for Dogman. I don't want to see Peter Hastings ever leaving, and I don't want DreamWorks to swap him with a director like Mike Mitchell and a bunch of other DreamWorks directors who do sequels just to cash in, because leaving where this movie left off, I do want to see Peter Hastings direct a Dogman trilogy, because without Peter Hastings, I don't think really anyone could pick up where Peter Hastings left off emotionally and story-wise, because he just did a phenomenal job with everything, and I cannot see another director picking up where he left off. I just can't. And animation, a 10 out of 10. The story in this movie takes inspiration from Dogman: A Tale of Two Kitties, a tiny bit of Wuthering Heights, and mainly from the first Dogman book, with Dogman really having his origins. And when it comes to the overall story, I think if you want to know what story it's adapting, it's gonna probably be, most of it is from The Tale of Two Kitties, and that's a storyline where Petey clones himself, and a cat named Little Petey comes out of this calamity, and brings out the good side in both Dogman and Petey, really starting their character arcs. And that's really what happens in this film. Little Petey teaches Petey a lesson about being a better person, and Little Petey teaching Dogman a lesson about how he doesn't always have to be alone. And that's not a spoiler, because it's literally in the book. And I really think the movie captured Little Petey perfectly. I loved his voice acting, and I think he wasn't annoying, not in the slightest, and he was just amazing. The voice actor did an incredible job, and he perfectly personified little Petey. I think he just did amazing. And yeah, that's really the tale it's adapting, and a tiny bit of Wuthering Heights, just because there's a lot of quotes from Wuthering Heights in the Dogman movie, and I don't want this movie to get copyright strike, but if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean. So if you want to get familiar with the movie, then you're going to have to read a tiny bit of Dogman Wuthering Heights, all of Tale of Two Kitties, and maybe the first chapter of the first book, just to get a grip on what the story is going to be. Next up, for my second to last category, we have really just the villain. And this movie has, I was gonna say 3 villains, but I'm gonna limit it to just 2. Because I don't really think the mayor is technically a villain, really. But the 2 villains are Flippy and Petey. And I think they were both done perfectly. Well, my only issue with the film is kind of around Flippy, and that's really because Flippy is only really present and in action in the last 20 minutes of the film. And if you've watched my past videos on the Dogman movie, you know it's something that I desperately did not want them to do. And that's just have Flippy as just this last-minute character that is kind of just a short-witted Titan from Megamind. Like, he's supposed to be the part of Titan from Megamind, but you missed like half of his character arc, which I feel like was a bit of what happened here, but not by a long shot. But a tiny bit of it happened here. But I think Flippy's voice actor did a really good job. He was really funny. And Petey, was personified perfectly. I think he is perfect, and just keep Pete Davidson at all costs, because he did spectacular. And the final category, until I tell you my final review on it, is the details. Because if you don't know, Captain Underpants is Dogman is a spin-off to Captain Underpants. And Captain Underpants had a movie from DreamWorks that came out all the way in the year of 2017, which, crazy to think about, honestly. And are there any hidden details or references to Captain Underpants in this Dogman movie? Well, there are some to Captain Underpants and some to Dogman. Like, I'm not gonna spoil them all here, but this is in the trailer, because I did do a lot of picking around in the Dogman movie trailer back in the day. But there's like the Franks from the first Dogman book. You got George and Harold in some of the trailers, and there's this wall in the movie with a bunch of villains from the books like Dr. Scum and the Fair Fairy, and that's just a few of the details that were just revealed in the trailers. If I went into details in the movie, I'd get copyright striked, but there are a lot of point-out details within the first 30 seconds. Like, you can see so much, and like, there's so much love and care put into this movie, and you can really tell from all the details that are scattered around that only die-hard Dogman and Captain Underpants fans will notice and really like get the reference to. So my final review on this, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. The only reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is because of like the Flippy issue. It's really like, I wish they gave him like more of like 10 more minutes to really flesh out his character, but oh lordy, Dogman, this movie is just amazing. It's really riding the DreamWorks wave of just making a lot of good movies again with Wild Robot and Bad Guys. I feel like this could be the beginning of one of their new franchises, because DreamWorks has now 3 new franchises to branch out, and all of them I'm interested in, because back in the past, their 3 biggest franchises, 2, I didn't give a crap in the slightest about them. That being Boss Baby and Trolls, which were very stupid ideas on their own. But the only franchise I was interested in the slightest that was still going on, was How to Train Your Dragon. But that ended as well. And I feel like these are the new perfect franchises that DreamWorks can now use, and everyone loves them. And I just think Dogman is a perfect addition to that. So, go see Dogman. I highly recommend it. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.